trucks are rolling across this land and back. Trains and trucks are moving where the highway meets the track. And here they are in Lionel's brand new trains and trucking sets for your kids. Everything here's included. Cranes at work, cargo, track, buildings, big trucks, and big trains for small hands to play with. It's Lionel Trains and Trucking, where the highway meets the track.
Hello everybody, and thank you very much for your time today. And today I'm coming to you from Concord, North Carolina. Yes. Alright guys, I am coming to you from Concord Mills Mall, of course in Concord, of course in North Carolina. Now we are near Charlotte Speedway, and now this is a very successful Mills Mall that is owned and managed by Simon Properties. So beautiful mall, a lot of great stores, and in fact I've got a walkthrough of the mall coming up, so definitely stay tuned and subscribe subscribe if you're not already. Alright, as you see, we are doing something very special today. We are at the Lionel corporate store here at the Mills, and guys, this is something that I was unaware of. Also, I was unaware of a conductor that looked like our friend Sleeve did it. That's right. Alright guys, so this store, absolutely amazing. I have a big connection to model railroading. I'll explain all of that in a moment, but I hope you do also, and I hope you have a lot of memories of model railroading when you were younger, and maybe you even do it now. Now, it's not something I do currently. I'm more of a pinball person, an arcade person. But growing up, I remember all of these model houses, model trains. There's the fake newsstand. Yes, the fake newsstand. All of these little shops that they had here on this gondola, a lot of them were kind of like meme worthy. They had some funny things about them, so that was pretty cool. And big shout out to anybody that used to wake up on Christmas morning and love having the train around the tree. And maybe you got some Lionel trains or some Bachmann trains or some Tyco trains. Maybe they weren't O scale, maybe they were HO, maybe N scale, little tiny ones, or maybe some G scale. And I also have a deeper connection to these model railroading hobbies and all these brands, because I actually used to work in a toy store back in Central Jersey that sold Lionel trains. So it was actually my first job. I was very fortunate to have that type of job as my first job. Used to be a mom and pop store in East Brunswick on Route 18 called Myers Toys and Hobbies, and it was not only a toy store and a hobby store, but also swimming pools. They used to sell doughboy pools, they used to sell nursery furniture, and they used to sell dolls. Also, the wife of the owner, lovely couple. I'm sure they have passed many years. They were older even when I worked at the store when I was young. But the Shapiros, very great people, and also want to give a shout out to all of my coworkers growing up when we were at Myers. I know Rich will definitely watch this video. I'll send it also to Kevin. And haven't been in touch with Frank in many years. Haven't heard from Dorothy. Let's see who else. We got Paul. Haven't talked to Paul in forever, so I don't know what he's up to. And then there was also a lot of staff members that were older that actually ran the store, and I'm assuming that they have probably passed on by now. But a lot of great memories. So let's go ahead and take a look around this Lionel store. Sorry to go so long there, but I wanted to share those memories and also give shout out to folks that I will be sending this video to. because we have such a connection to Lionel trains. All right, so the displays here, very nice, really cool. One of the things that I think they should maybe do, since this is a corporate store, these displays really should be on another level of amazing. So I think it'd be great if they actually connected with some model railroading enthusiasts in the area and had those folks come in and really spend a lot of time redoing the displays for the trains. They're nice, but I don't think it's Lionel corporate store worthy. And we're going to see here all of the sets. The sets now also have a lot more licensing involved. You'll see sets for Disney brands, you know, like Frozen, the Willy Wonka brand. We're actually going to see in a few moments, if we didn't see it already, National Lampoon, Vacation, the Elf train. Really cool shot of the store there. I might actually use that for my thumbnail. But this iconic orange box, I mean, you know a Lionel box when you see it from a mile away, or at least I do. Now, as we walk around here, one of the things that used to be always licensed with Lionel, of course, was all the different train lines, like the Santa Fe, like the Norfolk Southern, shout out Wally, Great Northern there you see, and also Conrail. And I grew up as a Conrail kid, so shout out to Conrail. And it is just so cool seeing that this store exists. I had no idea that it was here. Literally was walking through the mall, already having a good time, by the way. The mall is really great, really clean, some good food choices, a little bit of fried stuff. There's also a lot of healthy stuff in the food court. And this mall also is very similar. There's the Elf train, as you see. This mall is also very similar to Sugarloaf Mills and what I'm assuming would be a lot of the other successful mills that are still hanging on under Simon Property Group. The mills that are not doing so well, as we all know, Pittsburgh Mills, which I don't believe is owned by Simon anymore. I'm not going to call it what they call it now. I'm going to call it Franklin Mills, by the way. Growing up in New Jersey and going to Franklin Mills all the time was amazing, but unfortunately that mall has really almost met its doom. We'll see if it's going to get demolished soon. And also I know about St. Louis Mills, and speaking of St. Louis, there we go with Anheuser-Busch. My father actually worked for Anheuser-Busch for about 25 years in the East Division, and it was really cool to see an AB branded train. And they've had Anheuser-Busch branded trains through the years. I think they've had a lot of licensing with Anheuser-Busch, and that's cool to see that they still have that going on. But one of the things that I will call out here is that the trains now are very plasticky. And by plasticky, I mean that they feel a little bit cheaper, but they are much more expensive than back in the day when I was younger. Of course, as we all know, things have gotten a little bit lesser quality through the years, and unfortunately the prices have gone up while we have lesser quality. There we see the Santa Fe, and yeah, the Bluetooth connectivity. Not a big fan of that either. Now, I don't mean to sound like an old man, but I really do not care about my train set being connected by Bluetooth. I don't care about pressing a button for sounds. Train makes great sounds anyway. We can put the little bit of the steam oil in there and make some steam, or give it that coal effect. But it's just seeing Bluetooth on everything. Not a big fan of it. I want to go back to the trains when they were all metal, when they were of higher quality. They look nice here, but for those of you that have been into railroading hobby, or if you have followed railroads through the years, you can tell just by looking through the glass cases here, the quality just is not like it used to be. But you know what? Let's go ahead and take a look at the good things. The good thing is that railroading hobbyists are still going. Now, this has been a tough hobby over the last, let's say, 20 or 30 years. A lot of the guys and some gals that were into this hobby, they've passed away, unfortunately, and they've took a lot of knowledge and repair abilities and the intricacy to really make some amazing displays. They took that with them, unfortunately. So shout out to those folks, that have been in this hobby for a lot of years, that are still hanging on. Definitely, it's great to see a lot of hobbyist groups putting displays together. We do have one here in Charleston at the Citadel Mall, which is really awesome. It's only open certain days of the week, but really cool that it's still going. And it's kind of tough to even find a hobby store anymore. they're gone. And also another shout out to Sleeve. Thank you for doing the Lionel Kitty City video. And we're going to see here in a moment Lionel Play World. So that was the other version of Lionel Kitty City. So just like Toys R Us, for those of you that did not grow up in a Play World or a Kitty City area, those were two stores that Lionel owned, and really cool commercials. I used to see them living in Central Jersey. Sleeve went and filmed that store on Route 130 in Burlington, near the Burlington-Bristol Bridge. So definitely check out that video from Sleeve. I did a great job. I was nagging him for a while, dude. I'm like, dude, you go film that building already. And he finally did that for me. I used to drive past it all the time. My parents really weren't Lionel Kitty City parents. They were more of Toys R Us parents, and also actually the toy store that I worked at before I worked there. When I was a kid, I used to go in and it smelled like chlorine because they sold pools. It was just absolutely amazing. So my parents actually bought a lot of toys from when I was a very young kid from Myers Toys in East Brunswick, and of course Toys R Us on 18 in East Brunswick. So a lot of great memories. And I'm waiting for that train to come back around here. There we go. And also shout out Wally B. That's a Norfolk Southern, of course. And there we see something unfortunate. We see a tanker spilled, and that made me think of Palestine, Ohio, or East Palestine, Ohio. Very sad to see what happened a few years ago, and chemical spill, and folks are still dealing with a lot of bad things. So there are always some bad things that come along with railroad life, and that would be one of them, with chemical spills, and really impacting all of those folks. I hope they're doing well, but I've been following on the news, and unfortunately I haven't really heard a lot of great stuff. So very sorry that that stuff happened a few years ago. Now here we are in their NASCAR section. Now Lionel, I was unaware they actually have a Lionel Racing team and brand, and I believe this is probably because they are based in Concord, when we've got Charlotte Speedway just down the road. And by the way, if you ever get a chance to visit Charlotte Speedway, just driving around the track takes about 20 minutes. It is a massive, massive property. We were lucky enough to actually be on the property, drive around. There's kind of like an outer loop, and it was really cool. There's also an old hotel that's attached there, and then they've got the straightaway, the NHRA track, that's the 4 wide, and they also have the dirt round-arounds for the quarter midgets at Charlotte Speedway. There's the new transformer that is all technologically advanced. Not a big fan of that, by the way. I like the older metal ones. And here we see the fast track. So that is HO track, or actually that's O27 track, I think, and HO track. And it is having like a plastic on the bottom that's kind of like stone. Just makes it easier for you to put the track together and just put it down on carpet. There we see, yep, kids getting into railroad hobbying. And in that commercial in the beginning of the video, we heard from Mr. Cash himself. He used to do some commercials for Lionel, which is really awesome. I was actually unaware of that. Those commercials, I think, were probably when I was a baby or before, and before I was born. So I didn't even know Johnny Cash did the commercials for Lionel. That was so awesome when I was searching for them on YouTube and they popped up. And yeah, just really great memories. It's so awesome that this store exists. I was really excited. I wanted to bring it to you guys. I think a lot of you will really enjoy seeing this, and it's worth a trip. Not only is coming down to Charlotte really worth a trip, it's a great city. A lot of food. I mean, there is food everywhere in Charlotte. I don't know how everybody isn't about 500 pounds in Charlotte. So I'm also going to bring you some of that food stuff in some coming videos. We'll talk about that. Oh, there's the Fast Right. That made me think about Nate and all of his Halloween videos, and of course Wally doing some Halloween videos. And there's the Willy Wonka. Alright guys, we're getting close to the end of our time. I thank you very much for watching the video. If you get a chance to go to Charlotte, go head up towards the northeast side of Charlotte and visit Concord Mills. You will definitely enjoy it. And as we start to leave here, we're going to say goodbye to Mr. Sleeve. Alright guys, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.